A friend of mine thinks of me while having sex so they can keep going for much longer. What did you find out about your friend's sex life that actually shocked you? What's up, my bro? I'm so happy you joined me for another story time on Alien Radio. You're making your boy Andrew proud. Make me prouder and sub to the channel and like the vid as well. Because if you do, I'll send you a pack of Viagra pills to help you with your problem. Anyway, don't want to make this more awkward than it already is, so let's start the stories. Found out half of my friend group were regularly having foursomes together and rudely not inviting the rest of us. My friend had anal sex with her boyfriend for 5 years before having vaginal sex. She was too scared she would get pregnant. I have nothing against anal sex, but it totally shocked the hell out of me. A couple that I was friends with was into necrophilia play. He would make his wife take an ice-cold shower, quickly dry off, and then she'd just lay there while he ducked her cold unmoving body, and they really liked it. Best friend in HS was casually seeing this dude who was a senior our sophomore year. Well, he graduated and dumped her. Next year his brother started HS, she proceeded to date him. Took both of their virginities. Friend wouldn't let me use his computer 20 years ago. He said he had things on there that would change how I thought about him. I stowed the thought aside. 12 years or so later, married with a young daughter, they threw his ass in prison for having some insanely large amount of child porn on his computer. He was part of some huge child porn ring. Evidently really young girls. That she had elaborate pirate role-play sex. We were housemates in college and I heard way more than I bargained for. Also, the guy she had elaborate pirate role-play sex with smelled bad and wore those shoes with the separate toes. That one house sitting for us, he and his wife ducked in every room of our house and also on my motorcycle. Edit. Since y'all want details. I found out a few months later when the bastard told me. His wife also mentioned it. The bike was a custom Harley with a wide low seat. I'm pretty sure they bumped uglies on top while it was on the kickstand. I had a hard time enjoying the bike after that. I ended up selling it to our local city councilman. I didn't disclose the ducking. My best friend in college got in a pretty kinky sexual relationship with this dude for a while. They do BDSM type stuff, none of which is particularly shocking to me, but I remember visiting her apartment and seeing a spoon out randomly in her room and asked why it was there. She said she loved the taste of his cum so much he'd jerk off onto the spoon and feed it to her while she was tied up. I didn't think she'd ever really shock me, but that one took the cake. A former friend of mine used to wipe her husband's butt after he'd been to the bathroom. Initially she'd do his washing and he'd leave stains on his underwear for her. I'm not sure, and that progressed to some humiliation and her checking him when he got home from work every day. She told me this when we were outside having a cigarette and I then had to sit across from them both for the longest game of Monopoly. After several years I found out that one of my female friends wore a strap-on and ducked her husband up the butt almost every time they had sex. I don't remember how the topic even came up, but apparently that was just how he liked it and she was happy to oblige. He said that when he was 20 he did try it with another man, but didn't really find any enjoyment in it because he likes playing with tits while getting plowed, so he only likes it when it's coming from a woman wearing a strap-on. Was hanging out with my boyfriend and our friends, who are also a couple. We were having breakfast smoothies. They casually mentioned that they're going to an orgy in Brooklyn on Saturday, and it's a really progressive orgy because all men need to be invited by a woman. I'm like, wow, that's a really interesting system. Internally I'm like, you guys go to orgies? Edit. I just wanna say that you guys are losing it over the word progressive, since apparently that's how all orgies are. This was like 6 months ago. I'm not quoting her adjective for adjective, that was just my takeaway about that rule she described to us. I've never been to a sex club, alright. Well, I just found out my girlfriend's a lesbian, so that's kinda ducking with me. Edit. Thank you all for the support and the laughs. It sucks. We've been together for a long time. Built a bit of a life together. Been through thick and thin. She claims it's just a mistake, but she's emotionally and physically involved with another woman, and has been cheating on me, as well as financially supporting the homewrecker with money we discussed saving for a wedding. I hope she finds what she's looking for, because it's not gonna be with me anymore. I've given all that I could. My best friend uses blowjobs as bribery to an insane degree. I mean, I'm not above a little BJ bribery myself, but she uses it on her husband like several times a day. Wants coffee, but doesn't want to make it? BJ. Doesn't want to clean the dishes? BJ. It's her turn to walk the dogs? BJ. It's kind of hilarious, she's super lazy, but prefers giving him head to doing most chores, and apparently it works for him too. She also doesn't want sex as often as he does, so she finds this keeps him happy, and she doesn't feel the need to put out as much. All of which I find hilarious. My friend was US Army Special Forces Green Beret and would go on regular shadow ducking dates. He would find people online, mostly on Craigslist, this was in the 2012, and set up random anonymous sex liaisons with people he had never met, spoken with or had even seen. He would show up to an unlocked apartment or house, duck in the dark without ever seeing or speaking and bail. One day we were playing Xbox, he got an email, said, "Don't unpause it, I gotta go duck real quick." He left, did the deed and brought a six-pack back all within an hour, sat down and kept playing. This happened a few different times and I think about it often. A friend of mine came out as asexual. I had never met anyone who was asexual, so I asked a lot of questions, within his comfort level, about what that meant and what it's like to be in a relationship. He said he just doesn't have a sex drive, doesn't find anything sexual, doesn't want to be sexual, and is otherwise completely indifferent to sex. He said even though he's had sex, he's felt this way his whole life. He's been with his girlfriend for over 5 years. She is not asexual. She sleeps with other people, he's totally fine with it. He's not interested in progressing the relationship, she's cool with it for now. His biggest thing is that he's scared of how his family would react if they found out, and that they would assume he was just suppressing homosexuality. Turns out even people with no sexuality are still afraid of what others will think of them. I used to frequent Craigslist back before they banned anything even resembling a dating or hookup ad. I once placed an ad and got a response from a guy on my team at work asking if I wanted to duck his wife. As in bluntly asking, "Hey buddy, you wanna duck my wife?" Your email address is stripped off when using their built-in email system, but the name on your email account comes through. The response was in this guy's name, which is unique, and he included a picture of his wife who I have met. The pic didn't show her face, but she has some visible tattoos, so there is zero doubt it was her. In high school, a classmate of mine was bragging one day about losing his virginity to a lady in our community who happened to be the mother to a girl a grade above us. We all called bullcrap and asked why he'd make something like that up, cause not only is it not believable, it just wasn't even a funny lie. Fast forward 6 months and fellow classmate has to leave class on multiple occasions to go to court. Older lady was bragging to a co-worker about sleeping with said classmate, and now older lady is a sex offender. Years ago, my insecure virgin friend bragged to us about finally losing his virginity to the hottest chick. We didn't believe him because he always made up stories about this which were broken open every single time. He was obsessed with being a virgin at the age of 24, and his number one goal was to lose it. Needless to say, he wasn't in a healthy state of mind, and we tried our best to boost his confidence and convince him that it didn't matter, but to little effect. He said that, this time, he'd prove it to us so we'd know he wasn't lying. Well, one night we're at the pub and he brings her over. Really gorgeous girl. We gently begin to pry into the details of their sex life. She is very open about it and says she had been with my friend for 2 months and that he's spent the night with her dozens of times. Afterwards, some of us thought it was a conspiracy where he paid the girl to lie. We never saw them kiss or anything that night. Eventually, we came to accept it and felt happy for our friend because looks like he finally achieved what he so desperately wanted. We never saw the girl again, though this isn't abnormal because we usually don't bring our GFS around to hang out. A few months later I saw the same girl on the train. I asked how her boyfriend was doing, and she said he's doing good and left for the Air Force. My virgin friend was still in town, obviously. So I asked, well, what about virgin friend? Did you lie to us that night? She said that no, he has been over to their house many times for sex. Except the sex took place exclusively between her and her Air Force BF while my virgin friend watched. She had a kink for sexually humiliating guys, and I guess my virgin friend thought it was better than nothing. Then it dawned on me that the wording she used that night was deliberately evasive, though technically not lying. I never told anyone and I never confronted him. A few months later they broke up and my virgin friend, years later, still brings up stories about how he used to hit that. But I just play along and keep his secret. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.